Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Dr. Boyce Watkins Black Financial Report. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today we're going to talk about the stock market, and we're going to ask ourselves, will the stock market give us a Santa Claus rally? Are things going to kind of take off right before the new year, or are they going to start flopping? Well, let me just tell you, there's a lot of information going on with financial markets right now, a lot of crazy things happening. I'm going to break some of this down for you right now on the Black Financial Channel. So get comfortable. We're going to get started right now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, because we are flat out obsessed with Black wealth, because Black wealth is Black power. But you don't have to be Black to be here. You don't have to be Black to be here. But I want to make it 100% clear that we are Black first up in this piece. We believe in putting our community at the top of our priority list. We believe in preparing our children for the future. We believe in making economics a part of Black culture. If you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B1 in the chat, hashtag B, and the number one in the chat to let us know that you're on the same page. What's going on, Lisa Kelly and Lux and Styles and Stacy and Max Jerome, my homeboy, but Landre Bradley, Ronika, Ty, and Precious. All right, so let's jump in and get started. First of all, let me ask you, let's do a quick shout out with stock market investing. How many of you are investing consistently in stock market like we've been talking about? How many of you are consistently putting your money where your mouth is, showing what your values are, not telling me what your values are, but showing me what your values are by investing for your future? Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you are consistently investing. I believe that wealth is built with intentionality. It is also built with action, not with a bunch of talk. Give me a yes in the chat if you are investing. I want to just confirm that. All right. So here's what's going on right now. The stock market is doing some interesting things. You had some crazy things going on with airline stocks, in particular airlines and cruise ships and things like that. In fact, the airline shares kind of plummeted. A lot of this was driven by the fears from Omicron. Omicron. You know what Omicron reminds me of? It reminds me of Omarion. Wasn't there somebody in? Wasn't there one of those little boy band groups? You know what I'm talking about? Omarion. Was it Omarion? Yeah, and he was in that movie You Got Served. Remember that? It was a great movie, actually. They were really good dancers. But anyway, when I think about a Omicron, I think about Omarion. Anyway, the Omarion variant, that's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it the Omarion variant, has really been interesting because even though most of the studies are showing that the Omarion variant isn't really dangerous, and even LeBron James got in on the fun a little bit. He's been criticized pretty heavily because he actually put up a post where he was actually kind of making fun of the fact that the Omarion variant doesn't look much different from the cold or the flu. But now it's up to you to decide if you how you feel about that. But LeBron, I'm he's in big trouble for this, right? Because he's kind of getting off the narrative. But I think that most people probably agree that the Omarion variant, that's what we're going to call it. That's going to be our little special word for today. The Omarion variant, even though the economic implication, or excuse me, the health implications of the Omarion variant may not be all that severe, the financial implications, the economic impact can be huge because you don't need something to be afraid of in order for fear to exist. Let me say it again. You don't actually need something to really be afraid of in order for fear to exist. And what happens is that even imaginary fear creates very real implications. So when you talk about risk, remember, I studied at Ohio State University under a guy named Renee Stoltz, who was one of the leading risk management experts on the planet. Renee makes millions of dollars a year assessing risk. I remember helping him edit one of his textbooks back in the day. And one of the things about risk, because I've thought about it a lot, is that risk can be real or it can be imagined, right? It can be real or it can be imagined. And the thing is that the way financial markets work is that sometimes even imaginary risk can have a huge impact on the markets. Literally something that just comes out of thin air. So to some extent, some would argue that the fear and the risk, of the health implications of the Omarion variant wait, I didn't need to call it a micron. I need to quit being silly. That is actually causing real implications on the economy. It's causing real supply chain issues. It's causing people to really shut things down, and that's caused airline stocks and travel stocks in particular, cruise ships, things like that, to plummet. I think they dropped 2 to 3% in the last few days. I'm gonna go ahead and just say I think it's a buying opportunity. I personally believe this is all temporary. This is all much ado about nothing, and this imaginary risk, in my view, gives you an opportunity to go in and buy some of these stocks at a discount, so that when the rest of the world finally realizes that maybe this Omarion variant isn't the end of the world, everything's gonna be okay. And by the way, if you want to see Renee Stoltz, there he is. He's a nice man, and he was responsible for getting me accepted into the Ohio State University, which was very difficult. These PhD programs, they get hundreds of applicants and they only accept like 5 or 6 people. So shout out to Renee Stoltz. Feel free to look him up. He's a smart. He's pretty smart as far as white guys go. All right, so do me a favor, not to say, well, if you're white, don't let us hurt your feelings or nothing. But I mean, I just kind of think black excellence is kind of special. But anyway, all right, so hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on with the markets and the fact that there is also traditionally what they call the Santa Claus rally. And the Santa Claus rally is basically this historical phenomenon where there tends to be a boost in stocks right before Christmas or right around Christmas, right before, maybe right before the new year, etc. Now, that is a possibility this year, but you got to understand the last 3 years, you've had a really special stock market. You have made like money hand over fist. It's been easy to make money. It's been like shooting fish in a barrel. You could literally invest in everything, every sector, every kind of asset, and you are making money in this market. Again, it's a distorted market. That's why you have so many people suddenly online saying, I'm a stock market expert, come take my class and I'll teach you how to invest. Well, a lot of these people wasn't investing 2 years ago. they bought some stock and made some money, and then they felt like it was easy, right? Well, remember that this year it's going to be different. They say 2022. Most of the experts are saying 2022 ain't going to be like 2021. And so when you're talking about where to put your money, kind of going forward, I would encourage you to consider that flight to quality that we're talking about. When you talk about quality companies and quality stocks, that's where I'm putting more of my money. We did an analysis yesterday. This was interesting. Some of you gave me feedback on an analysis I did on a McDonald's stock. And I was explaining to you some of the ups and downs of McDonald's stock and why McDonald's is a good investment long term as a stock. But then some of you brought up the legitimate point that McDonald's isn't exactly a friend to the black community, right? This is certainly an ethical issue, right? We know that when McDonald's is feeding us all this unhealthy food that some of us are choosing to eat, there's no nutritional value there. I read you guys a whole article about it. Look it up. Look up Dr. Boyce's analysis on McDonald's stock, and you can hear this. And so on one hand, you do have a dilemma, right? On one hand, you have a company that's going to be profitable for a long time because Americans are probably never going to stop being fat. We're never going to stop eating unhealthy food. But on the other hand, you have to look at the fact that McDonald's probably kills more people than Charles Manson ever did, right? McDonald's kills more people than the KKK, right? So the question becomes, should you make an investment in a company like that just because it's profitable? Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you. I personally don't think that you choosing to buy McDonald's stock or not buy it is really gonna change things very much. They will always offer fast food to your people all the time. I think that we have to certainly decide to walk away from some of that. But at the same time, that is one of the ethical dilemmas that you run into when it comes to investing, and that's certainly worthy of respect. Another topic that we'd hit on earlier this week, my wife and I did an analysis of that divorce between Megan Megan Good and her husband Devon Franklin. And you can check that out. Feel free to just look that up. Look up Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. You can go to the blacklovechannel.com. That's where she and I will broadcast some of this relationshipy stuff. But this was interesting because there are significant financial implications when you talk about marriage, when you talk about relationships. Marriage has one benefit of improving you economically. It significantly improves your economic condition because you have the benefit of having a teammate. In fact, I saw a video just the other day, just yesterday, of a brother whose wife literally paid off his student loans or something like that, and it was really touching. And he started crying. He was very emotional about it, and that reminded me of how marriage can create this awesome situation where you actually have a teammate. You guys should really understand that the economic game is best played as a team. It's like football. You know, you can play football by yourself. I don't know if y'all ever did this when if you like me when I was a little boy. I used to, you ever go outside to play and there's nobody to play with, but you got your ball and you just want to play a game. So you start throwing the football to yourself, like you throw it down the field and then you run and catch it. I don't know if anybody else ever did anything that weird, but I used to do that. And it just doesn't seem the same though. It's not the same. So even playing football with two or three people is far better than playing it with just one person. So the economic game is a little bit like a football game. It's better to have a team. It's better to have a squad. And I'm not telling everybody to run out and get married or anything like that because as you see with Devon and Megan, it didn't quite work out and it came with some complications. But at the same time, they were benefits and they were assets to each other in various ways. Devon is an executive in the film industry. I think that helped Megan probably get a lot of roles and stuff like that. And Megan also herself is an economic powerhouse. She was a celebrity before they got married. So my wife and I kind of broke that down in an honest way. And I think all these things should be considered when you're talking about your economic journey. Do I look for a teammate? What kind of teammate should I pick? What attributes do I need to have in that man or that woman that's by my side that will help us both win? That's extremely important. So anyway, with that said, some other things I'll say about the stock market in terms of what's going on. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. I'm about to read some of this to you. Some of you are asking me about things like NFTs and stuff like that. We have the Black Crypto Club and the Black Business School. If you go to boycewatkins.com, just take a look. We have a Black Crypto Club that meets regularly in the Black Business School where we have crypto experts that will literally break down the latest and greatest things happening in the NFT space and the crypto space. And one of the things about investing is that if you get the information before everyone else, you can plant your seed and plant your flag before anybody else, right? You can make your move in the gold rush. There's a land grab, there's a gold rush happening digitally, there's a gold rush happening in the crypto space, there's a gold rush happening in the metaverse. And in order for you to be part of the gold rush, you got to know where the gold is buried. And that's where you talk to the people who already live in that space. So the Black Crypto Club, you can try it out. The first month is free. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com to take a look. You can also feel free to join our Black Wealth Bootcamp. I'll be teaching that myself. It starts January 6th. You can get a discount if you go to boycewatkins.com. The discount ends tomorrow. All right. So here's some other things going on with the markets. I believe cruise lines are a good investment right now. Now Carnival dropped, Royal Caribbean dropped, Norwegian dropped, basically because there was an outbreak of the Omarion variant. We're calling it the Omarion variant, not the Omicron. On some of the ships, United, American, and Delta all lost over 3%. Now here's the thing: JPMorgan's Dubravko Lakos-Bujas says we do not expect Omicron to impact the growth outlook in any significant way, but rather it is likely to accelerate the end of the pandemic. So check this out. This is really interesting, right? They're saying not only is Omicron not going to really hurt the economy, but they think it's actually going to push the pandemic to an end. They really think that. Now that's interesting. I think that's a possibility, but you got to also look at the other side of it, right? Always look at both sides of the coin. What if another variant comes out and let's say this variant has a death rate of 10%? Let's say that this is a variant that's being more contagious. A variant being more contagious doesn't scare me as much as a variant being more deadly. So if you had a variant that was more deadly, like let's say that the mortality rate was 5 times higher, um that's going to create a lot of complications because even right now, when I travel, I can't go to LA and New York. I love y'all in LA. I spoke in South Central right before the pandemic and Leimert Park, and I love New York. I love my people in Brooklyn and Harlem and everything else, and it sucks, man. I can't go and do events in those cities. We were going to have the All Black National Convention in Brooklyn at Medgar Evers College. We had to cancel it 2 years in a row because New York is tripping on all these mandates and lockdowns. So, even so, no matter what I chose to do with the jab, I've got a lot of people out there, and I hear you, I see you, who don't want to take that jab, And I don't blame you if you do. If you want to take it, I don't blame you. If you don't want to take it, I believe it's your right. But the thing is that there's a point now where it's not really your right as much anymore, right? So what it's kind of doing is it's creating these weird frictions in the way we can do business, in the way we can engage with each other, in the way that we can work together. So I just kind of want the pandemic to be over so we can go back to being normal. There was a great movie this week that my wife and I watched that I highly recommend on Netflix. Tell me if you saw it. It's called Don't Look Up. And literally, the whole premise is built around the chaos that ensued during the pandemic, where basically instead of it being a virus, it was there's actually an asteroid that was headed to Earth. And rather than like solving the problem of dealing with this asteroid that's going to destroy the planet, everybody got caught up in the politics. All the politicians were trying to worry about the approval ratings and whether or not they were going to win the election. You had corporations that were trying to figure out how to make the most money. You had the Trumpers and the right wingers who were running around, basically saying that there was no asteroid. They refused to believe that an asteroid even was coming toward the planet, right? So Leonardo DiCaprio did a great job in this film, and I think it was a great movie in the sense that it really exemplified some of the problems that you're going to run into as a society if we don't find a way to simply listen to other people's points of view. So when it comes to the stock market and what's to be expected, so first of all, it's on Netflix. It's called Don't Look Up. I highly recommend it. In terms of what I suggest with this market is I suggest patience. One of the things I mentioned to you guys before, 2022 is probably not going to be a great year. It's not going to be as great as 2019 and 2018 and 2020. But also, Anthony Fauci is basically, kind of saying what he normally says, which is that the virus is getting worse and worse and stuff like that. And okay, I get that. But also, holiday sales rose 8.5% in 2021 from last year, which is the fastest pace in 17 years, according to MasterCard. That's a big deal. That means that despite the virus, people are still shopping, people are still spending money. What is happening, though, is that a lot of the money that used to be spent in the mall is now being spent on the internet. So when people get afraid, they don't stop spending. Americans are big, big spenders. I encourage you not to be connected to that trend. I encourage you to not do what the rest of America is doing. The rest of America is brainwashed. The rest of America is brainwashed to consume to support a capitalist system that and unfortunately becomes a little bit exploitative. Now, you're not going to hear me speak as a pro or anti-capitalist guy. I'm too nuanced for that. I have too much education to be put into a box. I'm not going to let you define me with a one syllable concept. I love capitalism in certain ways. I hate it in other ways, right? There are things I like about it, things I don't like about it. But one of the things I can tell you, because you are my people, and I want to give you the inside scoop on this, because I know capitalism very well. That's what finance professors know, is that you have to be really careful about falling into the excessive consumerism that's out there. Whenever I see a rapper, rapping about a $10,000 Gucci belt, I just kind of cringe because they were trained to want that Gucci belt. You weren't born wanting to blow $10,000 in your family wealth on a new chain. Somebody taught you that nonsense and got you thinking that way. And you can't think that way if you're actually trying to grow and trying to build and trying to create something. So here's a little bit of Uncle Boy's advice, little wise words for today. I saw this, somebody put this up. I don't even know who said it, but I like it. It says, stack your money and act broke. Have more than you show and speak less than you know. And when I see that statement, I hear walk softly but carry a big stick. That means that if the people that talk the most about how much money they have are usually the people that ain't got no money. The people that love for you to know how rich they are usually not very rich. Most people who have had money, who know what it means to have money, who are balanced in their ego, who don't have these unfulfilled, voids in their self-esteem, are not going to run around bragging about how much money they have, and they're also not going to run around trying to pretend to be the smartest person in the room all the time, right? So you can know things and not always act like you know everything. And in fact, you might see this if you guys ever meet me in public. You'll notice when people talk, you can be the biggest, loudest idiot in the room, but when you're talking, when the other guy's talking, I'm just sitting there listening. I'm taking it all in because there is no benefit in me whipping out my PhD and slapping him upside the head with it. I'm there to learn. I want to learn from your perspective, right? So have more than you show and speak less than you know, and also stack your money and act broke. Broke people tend to act rich. Rich people tend to act broke. That's kind of how things tend to work when it comes to economics. All right, guys. Well, this is pretty much it. That's what's going on in the stock market. Tomorrow we are going to have class. My wife says hello. She's here with me. We're actually here in Mexico this week, trying to be normal for a little while before the new year starts, trying to figure out our game plan, our vision board for the year, and where we're trying to go as a family, where we're trying to go individually, where you want to go spiritually. I encourage you guys to take the time to do that. Also, if you want to join the Black Wealth Bootcamp, I promise you it's really, really good. We start January 6th. For the next 24 hours, there's a 48% discount on the Black Wealth Bootcamp. We cover everything you need to know to get off the corporate plantation. We cover crypto, how people make money on the internet. We cover how you pick stocks. We cover everything in the Black Wealth Bootcamp. It's our most popular program, and there's a money back guarantee if you're not happy for any reason. So feel free to go take a look. Go to boycewatkins.com. It's right there at the top, and you can still get the discount if you act today. After it'll still be available tomorrow, but the discount will be gone. All right, guys. So have a wonderful day. God bless you. Take care. And it was real. Love you. And I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.